Good morning. Some fascinating things are taking place now. The world appears to be in a turmoil, but is it really in a turmoil? Or is it that things are shaping up differently? With one person, the whole world is shaken. POTUS has created what you call an earthquake. He has created so many problems for many of these, I would say, butter people. That is what I'm going to call them in future, the butter people. Those who have been living on the fat of the land, those who have been using the services of the US to protect themselves and create a wonderful economy for themselves. And we find only homeless people now continuing in the US. Now the shape of things are going to change. US has recognized that it is also vulnerable. It has to look after its country, it has to look after its people, it has to look after its economy. You know, it was very surprising that I read in a newspaper article that London, the financial center, once upon a time, the world's financial center, when the governments approached them to release gold, they said they had no physical gold available to release. And it will take at least 14 to 18 days. Is that the Britain that we have known? Is that what we call the Great Britain? That is what it was called. And once upon a time, it was known as Pax Britannica. And it was also said, the sun never sets on the British Empire. Today, it is so sad that Britain, which has had a wonderful history and a past, has been now reduced to request people to wait for the release of the gold. You know, there used to be a saying about Fleet Street was known for its thing, and for the newspapers. And it was the old lady, that was what is called, the London Bank was called. That was how it was so powerful. Now today it has been reduced and brought to its knees. Why? Because it has lost touch with reality. Too many butter people were around moving things. And things were easy to move. Today, we are going to find it very difficult. Britain and Europe are going to find it difficult without the security cover of the US. If you look at most of the advanced technologies, especially with regard to the internet, with regard to the software development, with regard to the technology of chip manufacturing, the source was the US. The US government was funding its military so that it would enhance its strength and use the services of technology to lessen the cost of boots on the ground, as you call, where the army goes and serves in a particular country, boots on the ground. But the technology was slowly made available to the public, and today the world is bursting with so much of ideas with that technology. That technology which is now creating havoc in the form of AI, as I call it. It's the source document lies with the US. So the US gave us so much of information, so much of technology. The best cars, Chrysler, Ford, you name the cars, they came from the US table. US taught us the setting up of infrastructure roads, in the form of roads, interlinking of roads from New York to California, from Seattle to down south Florida. interlinking so many states, so many towns, so many cities. And it gave a boost to the development of the US. It gave us the idea. And India today is following the same idea, infrastructure, development. And we are linking Kanyakumari to Kashmir and Kutch to West Bengal. That is the kind of growth India has envisaged. So coming back to the topic, now today Europe has to wake up. It's a wake-up call for Europe. It is fattening itself on the security cover of the US. It does not exist anymore. They have to learn, and they are finding their feet. They have to find their feet. They lost it completely, that there was a ground beneath them. Because the ground beneath them was held together by the US armed forces, the security cover of the US. But today, that ground is slowly slipping, and before it becomes a swamp into which Britain and EU, I would say, EU, are swamped and sucked into the swamp. I'm sure they need to wake up, they will wake up, and they need to look at different opportunities and deal with different governments differently. I'm not able to express all my thoughts because they're flowing so fast. I'm not able to write it down also because I don't have the technology to write it so fast. If I'm able to, if suppose the technology comes, which I'm sure will come, that my thinking will be projected onto the screen. I'm sure some chip is going to be developed by some X, Y, and Z, which they will implant, or they can use a kind of a mirror to focus on that. And as when I think, it'll be imprinted. Now, the technology may come because there are a lot of people with a lot of ideas, a lot of thought processes which are now happening. And for me, when I think about it, I'm wondering about all the intelligentsia available in the world. We have become a soft world. And that is the reason that people are so upset and so offended and feel hurt at what Donald Trump is doing. Now, is Donald Trump doing the right thing or the wrong thing? You have to wait and see, and you have to reflect upon it. As an American, how will you feel? As a woke, how will you feel? As one of the leftists who have no work, who are left behind, who are still living in the 3rd century, what about them? That they all should wake up, that there is a reality beyond their thinking. And that reality should be, brought forward. And now people will wake up. The leftist thought process in EU is cracking. Germany just elected nearly a right-wing leader. And they are looking at coalition of parties which are looking at leaving the left alone for their for their independence, and leaving them alone, and rather not looking at them for their support. That is what Germany is doing. Denmark, Sweden, Norway, you name those countries, even Italy. Italy is now a right-wing party. Why? Because the people are now awakening to the truth that their country is very important. Their people are important. The world, yes, it is important. Nobody denies it. But the world, their country, is equally important, and for them to take them to live in the future and keep a country which is happy and successful. That is what we are looking at today. And Trump is playing a major part in awakening the interests of the people there. And I'm sure that as time goes by, there will be, a new definition of international trade, international relationship, and as you call, liberalism, and the thought process of economic independence for very many people. I would like to continue with this kind of thinking process because of Trump, he has shaken the world. Let us take it forward.